Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks to both of you for being here. Appreciate it very much. First question I have for both of you is that coal provides an incredible amount of the baseload power generation in the country. Certainly in our area, for example, North Dakota, two of our regional grid operators, MISO and SPP, both get a lot of their baseload from coal-fired electric plants we have in our state. And we have got to have more base load for the stability of the grid writ large. So if confirmed, and start with you, Ms. Sweat, and then Mr. Lacerte. If confirmed, how would you approach the challenge of new demand growth, recognizing that we need base load for the stability of the grid to have that available 24/7?
Thank you for your question, Senator, and I really appreciated the time to meet with you yesterday.
Thank you.
If I have the honor of being confirmed, then I believe that ensuring that the FERC jurisdictional markets are sending accurate price signals will value all types of generation, including the value of baseload. If we can do whatever FERC can in its jurisdiction to ensure that those markets are well functioning, then I am committed to that goal if I am confirmed.
Well, I agree with that, and you got to send the right market signals. Do you have thoughts on how you do that? In other words, if you take two projects, one is just keep continuing to add intermittent energy to the grid, which is creating less stability, versus adding more base load, and you give them the exact same pricing signal, then you're not getting the more base load that we need. So do you have some thoughts on how to do that?
Yes, Senator. I do have thoughts after working on this for the chairman who I served under during my time at FERC. Every market is struggling with different resource adequacy issues and also trying to integrate the states' decisions that are in those markets on their generation mix and their portfolios, which is fully within their jurisdiction under the law. And so the best thing that FERC can do is take all of the inputs that it gets from those states and their generation choices and every generator before it and the rates that it is considering to ensure that just and reasonable rates are achieved for the American people under the Federal Power Act.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Lacerte?
Thank you, Senator. I enjoyed our conversation in your offices this week.
Appreciate it.
It's important that we note that coal is a vital component of our energy mix and the value that it gives to baseload power. And I've seen the studies, I've seen the supply and demand coming out of some of the RTOs, and we're going to need more reliable baseload power moving forward, and coal certainly plays an important component in that mix, absolutely.
Yeah, and in fact, as far as developing more, and in our state, we have it all. We have biofuels, we have wind, we have solar, we have a lot of oil and gas, we have coal, we have it all. We do it all. We don't just say all of the above, we actually do it, okay? And, the different forms of power have their role. But even to put more intermittent on, we're going to have more base load or it doesn't work, right? Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Talk, each of you, a little bit, and again, follow up our conversation, is one of the other challenge we have is as we're moving energy to market, and we see that, because we're in North Dakota, we move a lot of energy to like a 12-state region. So transmission lines, pipelines, all those kind of things. How do we build those projects, but at the same time, make sure that we protect states' rights and property rights? How do we, what are your ideas in that regard? And Ms. Sweat, we'll start with you again.
Thank you for the question, Senator. I agree that building big transmission projects is essential to our reliability as a nation, and I'm committed to doing whatever FERC can to ensure that its part encourages infrastructure development. That said, I'm also, if I am confirmed, I will faithfully execute the laws as passed by Congress, and FERC does not have siting authority over transmission. It only has a very small portion of the law for eminent domain within a DOE-designated corridor. And so whatever the guidance of Congress is on that matter, I will faithfully execute if the laws change as well.
But certainly sensitive to protecting private property rights.
Yes, absolutely, Senator. I am very aware that landowner rights are, they're very important and very personal, and I would take a hard look at them in any matter before me if I am confirmed.
Thank you. Mr. Lacerte?
Senator, thank you. I appreciate that question. You know, as a former state cabinet secretary, I certainly appreciate the value of states' rights and, you know, the lack of federal encroachment upon those rights. It's important to me, and I know we discussed that in your office the other day. You know, it's important also to note as a South Louisiana, you know, it's important that we take into account landowners' rights when we're permitting and we're planning our pipelines and our transmission. And I think, you know, it's definitely an important factor within those particular realms.
Yeah. Again, thanks to both of you. Appreciate it very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.